The reality is, one of the things I always ask myself when a consumer states that is, do you really want to pay? The reason why I ask that is, in my experience, when someone says, I get them on the phone, maybe 5, 10 years ago, there were a lot more people who just didn't have checking accounts. And the type of accounts that I was dealing with, which were payday loans, typically that type of consumer, they're hard money loans. So that type of consumer's credit is not good, most likely. And things are sort of kind of tough with them. So a lot of times I'll talk to them, and then you find out they don't have a checking account because they've been sent to check systems, or they messed up their checking account, or whatever the circumstance is. And so, yeah, in that case, I mean, hey, you don't have a checking account, you don't have any credit cards. Now, as time progressed with online shopping and all that type of stuff, you got to have something, a Visa, MasterCard, prepaid account, or something along those lines with regards to paying. But in my experience, whenever I've gotten people on the phone and they said, okay, yeah, I'll mail in the payment, only 10 or 20% of the time they actually make the payment. They actually send the payment. And out of that 10 or 20%, if it's monthly payments, they may mail the first or second payment, then I'll never hear from them again. But that's one of the things that I think of. Now, the people who normally make their monthly payments that I have clients even up until today that I've been dealing with for probably 5 years that make their monthly payments on large balances. Typically, the people who typically follow that, if they don't set up a check by phone or credit card by phone transaction and they mail it, are people who are on fixed income, right? Because typically, if you're on a fixed income, you know exactly how much money you're getting. You pretty much have a few bills that you have to pay, and then whatever's left over, typically a habitual thing, you're going to make your payments. So typically, out of that 10 to 20% of people who actually make their payments each month, 90% of them are people on fixed income, typically older consumers who are on fixed incomes. Now let's get into what I recommend. If you're going to do mail-in payments, the only way I really recommend that you do that is if you're sending monthly payments on balance in full. So in other words, if you had a balance of $3,000 and you were making $50 a month payments, and it was on the total balance, then I recommend that you do send it. Send your $50, try and set it up to where, it's towards the end of the month, so that way, the company knows that the payments are coming in monthly and you're doing your thing. So that's what I recommend that you do. Now, if you have any questions about debt or credit, put them down in the comment section. If you have any questions with regards to mail-in payments, which is what I'm talking about, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. And as always, you be great.